So this is a video on how to properly wind a bobbin on some of our Clubhouse machines. Now I am working on my Janome 15,000 quilt maker. This is the newer version. You can tell it's the newer version because it has this rounded pre-tensioner device here. If you have the older version, it is going to look more like the tension guide on an 8200 or an 8900. I'll get you an image of that here. So I've got some 30 weight, 40 weight Aurifil here. Hopefully you can see it well. I'm just going to put it on my horizontal spool pin, and I'm going to use my special spool cap. That's what you're going to want to use with these big Aurifil cones. That's also what I use with my glide cones. It's called the special spool cap, and it works so much better than your small spool cap. If you've been using a small spool cap with these types of threads, you'll be amazed at how much better your thread works for you with this. Now, I always say that threading a machine is like flossing teeth. So I use two hands, and I go around my little anti-kink device, that little metal thing. You do not need to lock your machine to wind a bobbin. And I'm going to give it a good pull over here, just pulling it with both hands. Hope you can see that I'm really giving it a nice tug. Once I've done that, I'm just going to have it in one hand. Got quite a bit of thread coming out my hand. I'm going to take my bobbin, set it here. You can set your bobbin first if you want. And I just pop it on there. And then I'm going to rotate my bobbin until I hear it click. Hopefully you heard that click. I'm going to do it again. There's a wire in your bobbin winding spindle that pops out and settles into the groove of your bobbin. It is right here. That little slit in the bobbin has a purpose, and that unifies the bobbin and the bobbin winding spindle together so they turn as a unit instead of having the bobbin rotate like it's on a tire or like it's like a tire on an axle. If you don't click that little wire in there, you'll get little inconsistencies as you wind the bobbin. You could get a whole entire loose wound bobbin, especially if you miss using two hands over here to get it nice and tight. There is good tension on here. I can feel the tension. If you don't feel the tension, it's not pulled tight over here. If you miss that wire and you're getting inconsistent bobbins, you're going to have poor tension coming and going because that thread in the bobbin case is getting tighter and looser. So take it around here. We're going clockwise, around and around. There is absolutely no need to thread the tail of the thread through a hole in the bobbin if you have this little whirligig. And let me zoom in on that. This purpose of this little device here is to hold your thread tail. So several wraps. I like to try to bring my thread down just a little bit to make sure the wrap is wrapping over some of the thread. And then it just hooks underneath one of those little whirligigs. You'll pull, it cuts the thread and holds the thread tail. Then you just push this over. Depending on what model machine, you may need to push the bobbin and the bobbin spindle over. On the 15,000, I just push this over to the side. And then on my 15,000, I have a button to wind the bobbin. Not all the machines have a button to wind the bobbin. You'll either use your start-stop button or you'll use your foot pedal. And we just start spinning away. You do want to make sure while it is winding that you don't have a bunch of feet up in here for the thread to get tangled in. You know what, I have a couple of my little pieces up here. You don't want it to get wrapped in. Once it's full, it will push this piece away and stop. If you have the type of bobbin winder that you have to move it over to the side, it will usually slow down and you've actually got to push it over to the side for it to actually stop the motor. Mine pops right off, and then you just pull it off. We got a little thread cutter right here to cut that thread off, and we've got a beautifully wound bobbin. I'll see you in the next video.